Hi everyone. Today we're going to be looking a little bit more deeply at the Digital Scholastic Manager website for guided reading. We're going to be talking about the groups tab up here, and we're also going to be talking about how to print our data, our summary, now that we have our middle of the year information and put it into the system. So the first step that we're going to look at is this groups tab. Remember, you most likely compiled your data at the beginning of the year for your students based on your middle or beginning of the year results. Now it's going to be time to go in and edit your groups and make adjustments for your middle of the year data. So you have the option of resetting all of your groups, or you have the option of moving the student tabs wherever you would like them to go and renaming your levels and your group titles. So you will want to do that. Remember to take a look at the guided reading levels, also the phonics stage the students are at, as well as any comprehension skills that the students may be needing support in order to group your students in the best possible way. If you see a dash in the section of a specific topic, that means that the student did not struggle in this area. Okay, so after you order your groups, then you want to click over into this reports tab, and I'm going to be showing you how to download some important data all onto one Google Sheet for the step 4 reading record and the step 2 word knowledge inventory. Now, if you're on a Chromebook, there are a couple extra steps. If you're on a desktop, you can just use Excel and your data will download really easily. With Google, there are just a couple extra steps, so I'll walk you through those today. So I'm going to download step 4 first. When I click on step 4, I'm going to come over here to this Export CSV tab or button. And I don't know if you'll have all of these options, but you will probably just have to export your own class. And it's going to download. I'm also going to go ahead and download my step 2 data for word knowledge at the same time, just so that I have this step out of the way. And it's going to go into my downloads. Next, I do need to go into my Google Drive because I'm on a Chromebook, and I do need to upload those documents into my drive in order to access them. Like I said, if you are on a desktop, you shouldn't need to do this step. You should only need to do a quick download, and you can access everything that you need right there. Okay, so I'm going to open these and upload them quickly here to my drive. And for right now, they're just a little funky, and I do need to just quickly open one of them with Google Sheets, and then I'll be able to get started. I'm going to go ahead and do that with my step 2 also. Now, once we start looking at these sheets, you're going to see they may look a little overwhelming, but do not worry. This will be a pretty quick and easy process, and you'll be glad that you have everything all on one step or all on one sheet in the end. So looking at my step 2 data right now, and I thank you for the teacher letting me use her data to organize for her and be able to share with all of you. You are noticing a lot of middle of the year and beginning of the year data on her students. So we really only want to look at our middle of the year data. So we're going to do just a little bit of formatting. If you come over to this top left box here, you're selecting all of the information on this entire sheet. You're going to come up to data, and you're going to create a filter. When you do that, you can say, I want to specifically filter or organize my data so that I'm only looking at beginning or middle of the year at once. So I'm going to sort this. I'm going to go Z to A. That way it gives me my middle of the year first. And now all my student data is organized into middle of the year and beginning of the year. I'm actually going to get rid of all of this beginning of the year data because I do not want it right now. So just click that top column. Oops, let me move my face here out of the way. And this top row and the bottom row here. I'm highlighting everything. I'm going to right click and I'm going to delete these rows. Now that eliminates a ton of my data. And then I'm going to come across the top and I'm going to get rid of quite a bit more data here. I don't think I really need my name or the year or anything like that. For privacy purposes, I'm actually going to delete the student names also, but you would not want to do that. So I'm going to come all the way over to this column and delete this data. Like I said, you will want to keep your student names though, obviously, so that you can organize them and analyze them. Now, this is the step 2, the word knowledge column. And what we have here now, minus the student first and last name, is a lot of really great data that you can look at. Depending on the level of students that you work with, some of the type of word knowledge will have been tested and some will not have. Since this is a first grade classroom, some of these other pieces were not tested, so I'm actually going to get rid of them. You can keep whatever you need to keep and get rid of whatever you need to get rid of. And then what you got left here are your spelling stage, whether they're phonetic, early phonetic, fluent, transitional, how many words the student tested. You may not want to keep that. How many words the student got correct, how many words they got incorrect, and especially the target spelling feature that you would want to be working on with that student at the guided reading table. You're also going to be able to look at the data and see if the student got an error in the skill or if they had it correct. So this 0 means that the student did not have an error in initial consonants. You can see that up here. And so this is not the student's least deficit skill. Neither is final consonants. They had 0 errors here. So we could continue to look all the way down until we notice that long vowels is where we see our first deficit and the student's going to need some extra support here. So that's how you're going to read this document. Now, I know you will have ordered your groups on Digital Scholastic Manager. You might want to put all of your levels together. So we do still have that filter on. You could come over to your spelling stages and you could sort that also. Now I have my early students together, my fluent students together, and so on and so forth. So that's one helpful document. And that's really pretty much it. You can hit print from here and have this data in front of you for when you're lesson planning or for when you are just working with a small group at the table. Just to quickly go over it one more time, remember we also downloaded the step 4 guided reading level, and we've got all that overwhelming information here, beginning and middle of the year, that we want to get rid of. So I'm just going to come up here. For some reason, all the beginning of the year stays together on this one. And I'm going to highlight and get rid of my beginning of the year data. I don't want it right now. I only want my middle of the year. I'm also going to get rid of several pieces of extra information that I do not need, including student names right now for me. You do not want to get rid of your student names. And you're left with quite a bit of good information again. We will want to order our instructional level for guided reading. So remember, we come up here to this top left box. We're going to highlight all of our data then. Come up to data, create a filter, and I really want to put my levels in order. So I'm going to sort it from A to Z. And now this is probably going to be pretty similar to your guided reading groups that you organized in the Digital Scholastic Manager. Notice we've got an A level student, a few C levels who will probably be together in a guided reading group. You might have some D's and E's together. You get the picture. And then you're going to use this information to support your students also at the guided reading group. You're going to see their accuracy rating, any self-correcting that they do, fluency rating, and their comprehension score. Now, remember, with comprehension score, you're going to see maybe some high and some low numbers. When we give those assessments, remember, you let the student retell for you about what happened in the story, and you can give them up to 5 points. And then you ask them some comprehension questions after that about the text. And so this comprehension column is going to compile both of those pieces together in one. And so that's where you get this wide range of numbers here. And then how the student does with retell, vocab, key details, inferring, all of these main comprehension skills that you might want to support the student with at the table. Remember, all of these questions are worth 1 point. So if you see the student getting a 0, that's going to be their least deficit skill. And so, you may want to work on vocabulary with this student here. Okay. If you see zeros, the student's going to need some support. And so you might want to work with that group on that skill. I'm noticing some level N's here who might need some extra support with key details. And so that might be a main focus at the guided reading table. But all the data is right there for you. It's all on one sheet then. You can kind of flip back and forth between your step 2 and your step 1 data in order to better support your kiddos at the table. Reach out to your coach if you need some extra support with this also, or how to download your data. And thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great day. See you later.